So Johnny Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, is representing a huge Hollywood name that has been tied to everything from Batman to Sleepy Hollow to Alice in Wonderland, Edward Scissorhands, and more in Danny Elfman. See, Danny Elfman has been publicly accused, and the mainstream media, they have talked about this quite a bit as well, saying that a then 21-year-old accused Danny Elfman, who was 47 years old at the time, of some pretty horrible things. Now, Brown Rudnick, again, the firm that represented Johnny Depp, they say that this action was malicious. The intent was to embarrass Elfman into a settlement. You can tell that with buzzwords throughout the filing. They say, you and I, we're going to look at all of this today, and this is crazy times. This is crazy times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. So Johnny Depp's lawyers, that'd be Camille Vasquez and Brown Rudnick, they are representing one of the biggest Hollywood composers out there. If you don't know Danny Elfman, by the way, you do know his work. I mean, he's been tied to everything from Nightmare Before Christmas, Batman Returns, Sleepy Hollow, Big Fish, Alice in Wonderland, and dozens of other projects. He's an award winner as well. Well, you have someone come out, publicly accuse him. Not only do they publicly accuse him, they get involved with the mainstream media and more, and this is how the accusation goes. And remember, this is just an accusation. We have no idea what's going on and always defer to innocence. Now, this allegation goes all the way back to 1997, where you have the plaintiffs say that they met Danny Elfman at the home of a mutual friend and immediately connected. Now, the plaintiff notes that they were a student at the New York Film Academy, had previously attended music school, so that was a common interest in music and film that catalyzed this connection. Now, the plaintiff says, at the time, I was young, I was naive, and I was eager for help to make it in the music and film industry. Plaintiff was approximately 21 years old at the time, they note, when they met Danny Elfman, and Danny Elfman was approximately 47 years old. They say that Elfman, then he begins grooming them. He has the intent to manipulate this person's emotions, take advantage of them, so that he can ultimately essay and exploit the plaintiff. So over the next year, he stays in touch with the plaintiff, they say, where Elfman would invite them to hang out at hotel rooms and more. On one occasion, they say, Danny Elfman, he was filming the Oscar-winning movie Good Will Hunting, and he invited the plaintiff to the cast and crew outing and events. And also, they would have all of these discussions about how film, music, and scoring worked. For example, he was scoring the movie The Mummy and was required to make certain decisions about it. Danny Elfman, they note, treated the plaintiff like both a consultant and a protege. Plaintiff was made to feel like she had a meaningful impact on his work, but was also benefiting from his mentorship and notoriety in furthering her career. Now check out these accusations. She says after they hung out a few times, they were at the Mercer Hotel in New York when Danny Elfman suddenly removed all his clothes until, I'm going to say, he was completely bare, and then walked around in front of plaintiff, exposing himself. She says that he then goes out in front of an open window and stands there in an effort to expose himself to the public. Then Danny Elfman coerced the plaintiff into taking her clothes off. So she says, yeah, I did that, but he coerced me to do it and stand in front of an open window in view of the public. Danny Elfman told plaintiff that he hoped someone would look at them and it was fun. Now, the plaintiff says that made me really uncomfortable, standing like that in front of him. So I left the window and put my clothes back on. He remained there, though, for another 5 minutes. On a following occasion, they saw each other. You had him do this again and then start a bath. He insisted that the plaintiff come over to the bathroom and watch him take a bath. Going forward, anytime the plaintiff and defendant spent time together, Danny Elfman removed all of his clothing until he was completely bare and walked around. And she says, well, this made me feel uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough to lose a friend and a mentor. In fact, we slept in the same bed any time that I would go to a hotel room. I never got bare, let's say, but he did, and this happened 7 times. Oh, by the way, she says, when I was moving in 1998, he said, I can help out your career. Why don't you come and stay with me? And when he did, he continued all of this. Now, Vasquez and Brown Rudnick say all of this is buzzwording together because even though all of this sounds consensual, right? They say, well, due to Danny Elfman's power, prominence, and a highly regarded reputation in the entertainment industry, the plaintiff always felt the imbalance of power and pressure to act a certain way around Danny Elfman. She says she felt she had no choice to comply with his requests and felt was a condition of their continued relationship. Now, she makes plenty of other allegations, too. And you have Camille Vasquez, Brown Rudnick, answering for Danny Elfman, saying that all of this is maliciously filed. All of it is made up by the plaintiff and her attorneys without any valid basis in fact in law for the improper purpose of embarrassing Danny Elfman and extorting settlement money out of him, recognizing that her absurd allegations would carry no weight in a court of law. I mean, if you look at that stuff, would you think any of that would indeed carry any weight? The plaintiff and her attorneys chose to embark on a disinformation campaign, providing her dishonest complaint to the media days before it was filed in court or became publicly available on the court's docket. And that's true, by the way. This stuff was all over the media well before it was filed. By publicizing her allegations and using provocative but untrue buzzwords throughout the pleading, you saw some of that. She does that throughout all of it. She uses that type of descriptor. Plaintiff all but guaranteed widespread, salacious press coverage that was certain to damage Danny Elfman, notwithstanding the meritless nature of her claims. Now, Vasquez for Danny Elfman not only denies the allegations of impropriety, but denies much more. In fact, they deny that the plaintiff was ever a quote-unquote consultant or a quote-unquote protege of Mr. Elfman and say that based on the limited acquaintance. So, the plaintiff was saying, they were very well acquainted. He was like, no, they were limited acquaintances. And based on that, she had no expertise in music. And Mr. Elfman never asked the plaintiff to serve as a quote-unquote consultant. This might get lively, too. It depends on how exactly it goes forward, if there's a settlement there to keep it out of the courtroom. But yeah, when you read through it, it is something, too. We'll probably go over all of this in a live stream. Let me know what you think about it. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Thank you. Can't say that enough. This will be one to keep up with, I think. But yeah, share it. Thank you again.